Over 80 years has passed since the word scouting became closely associated with a group known as the Boy Scouts. It was February in 1910 when the Boy Scouts of America first came into being. Since that time, the Boy Scouts have grown to become an American institution as familiar as baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie. Every February, Scouts throughout America and the world celebrate the creation of their organization by holding a special ceremony known as the Blue and Gold Banquet. Each group of Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts designs a banquet with a theme. One pack of Cub Scouts on Okinawa chose a symbol that is familiar with every American.
The Blue and Gold Banquet has an honor to Old Glory, our flag. This is this year's theme. We have set everything up in honor of the flag. We had an opening ceremony that paid tribute to the flag. Then when we finish our wonderful dining tonight, we're going to be going on to pay tribute to our Scouts who have earned awards over the last month.
For the Scouts of Pack 115, this Blue and Gold Banquet brought together all of the Scouts as well as their families for an evening of fun, food, and celebration. During the ceremony, the Pack's flag received 2 decorations. As well, some Scouts were recognized as they had earned the right to advance to the next scouting rank. Scouting means different things to different people, but the consensus of the evening was that Scouting is fun, and it provides a great learning tool for the youth of today, who are the leaders of tomorrow. Overall, Pack 115's 1993 Blue and Gold Banquet was a success, leaving each and every Scout with an evening they wouldn't soon forget, and a drive to continue on their way to reach the highest honor of Scouting, becoming an Eagle Scout. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Kadena Air Base. The United Seamen Service is an organization that was created specifically to address the needs of seafarers when they came into port.
The United Seamen Service was formed 50 years ago, primarily to provide service to seamen, merchant seamen. During the war, there was really no place for seamen to go when they were carrying the supplies initially to Europe. So the United Seamen Service was established to give them an opportunity to get off of the ships prior to the return home.
On Okinawa, one of the first established United Seamen Service clubs exists in Naha City. The downtown location, directly across the street from Naha's military port facility, makes the club ideal for visiting seamen. Though the organization's purpose is to take care of civilian seamen, all Department of Defense personnel are authorized to use the club.
The facility here is open to anyone with a DoD ID card, including reservists and retirees. Also to merchant seamen who have a valid shore pass, means they're ashore legally, and also to guests, of course, of all of these other folks. So we do have a goodly number of local national guests that use the facilities as well.
Recently, the Okinawa Club was visited by the president of the worldwide organization, along with members of the board of directors who were on a Pacific-wide tour of all the USS facilities. With the USS clubs being overseas, it is very important that good relationships are maintained with the host countries.
Well, you'll find that on this particular trip, we're doing a complete swing through the Pacific. You find that the relationships are extremely good, cooperation's extremely good with the foreign governments, and every place we've been on this trip, there's been such a fantastic spirit of cooperation.
Okinawa's Seamen's Club has a lot to offer military members, from a breakfast through dinner dining menu to a large game room and a bar, as well as a party room that's available for rental for large functions, and the club has ample secure parking that can be used for a day trip to Naha or for a free safe place to leave your car when you take leave and have to fly from Naha's airport. Overall, the United Seamen Service Club in Naha provides a great service for everyone, and it's just 15 minutes south of Camp Kinzer, located in the heart of Naha. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Naha City. Black History Month is well underway, and many different organizations have found new and interesting ways to show their support for African American heritage. Students from Zukaran Elementary School on Camp Butler came up with a way to show off many prominent figures in Black history by creating the Black History Living Wax Museum.
The students and I got together and decided that Black History Wax Museum would be an effective way to share knowledge about Black people who have contributed to the world, in fact, by their inventions, their educational endeavors, their sports prowess, and other areas that people may not have known that we as African Americans have contributed in.
For students that came to view the Wax Museum, an opportunity to learn about people they weren't familiar with was one of the main reasons for the show. Famous Black Americans including Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X were on display. Some of the figures were not only on display, but they also gave a short background on themselves when a display button was pushed. A lot of research went into the creation of this project, most of which was done by the students themselves.
Students met with me and we decided on who they would portray. They had to do the research on their own, they had to come up with their own costumes, they had to come up with their own ideas on how to present their product so that as people came and walked through, they could educate them.
All in all, the Black History Living Wax Museum turned out to be a complete success, leaving all that participated and all who visited with an enhanced knowledge about Afro-American history, as well as an appreciation for the importance of the observance of Black History Month. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Zukaran Elementary School. For the past few months, members of the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit have been preparing for a specific exercise that plays an important role in the training of the Okinawa-based unit. Team Spirit 93 is what all the hard work was for, and now it's time for the operation to begin. The exercise takes place in the Republic of Korea, and as its name implies, the purpose of the annual event is to ensure that members of the U.S. forces and the Korean forces can successfully operate as a team during combined joint operations. Due to the size of the exercise, it takes a lot to get the Marines from Okinawa to Korea. Recently, the 31st MEU Marines were boarding the USS Bella Wood for the trip to Korea. However, the reason the Marines were taking a ship rather than flying has a lot to do with the specific types of operations that the Marine Expeditionary Unit is created for.
The 31st MEU is a contingency force that is specially trained to do amphibious operations, and we do all of our training with Fibron 11, and this is just continuing part of our training.
The journey to Korea takes about 3 days by ship if the weather cooperates, but the time that is spent at sea is not wasted. The Marines aboard take a chance to hold classes about the upcoming operations, do physical exercise, as well as learning to work with their Navy partners. This year's movement has a special significance for both the 31st MEU as well as the Bella Wood Amphibious Ready Group.
The difference about this deployment is the fact that finally the 31st MEU is special operations capable. In the past, everything had been a workup for our SOC exercise in which we got that qualification. This time we are going out fully qualified.
It was just a few months ago that the 31st MEU and the Bella Wood received their Special Operations Capable qualification, and this year's Team Spirit is their chance to utilize all of the training and hard work that has been put forth from both the Marines and the Navy to make a team that shows how the close working relationship between the sailors and Marines creates a force that's hard to beat. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, White Beach. The annual USO Service Salute Awards were held at Camp Butler's Officers Club. This tradition of honoring one member from each of the 5 U.S. services, as well as the 3 Japanese self-defense forces, has been going on for 23 years on Okinawa. The USO Council of Okinawa and the various USO centers on Okinawa team up with the civilian and military communities to bring recognition to those members that have given much more than is expected to their service. The USO Service Salute provides a yearly chance for community interaction.
It gives a chance for the local community to say thank you to the armed forces, and it's sponsored by many great companies and corporations and private individuals throughout the communities.
The ceremony itself reflected the high standards that these individuals have towards their jobs. An elegant meal was served, and after a short intermission, the honorees marched into the sound of their service's anthem. After all were assembled, the presentations of the awards and gifts began. First off, medals were placed around the awardees' necks by their senior enlisted representatives. Then, local businesses and organizations were called up individually to give their gifts, which included money, gift certificates, and other various items. After the awards presentation, the guest speaker, Major General Donald R. Gardner, gave a speech that left all in attendance with a sense of honor and pride, and for those who could qualify, an urge to do their best over the next year so that they might be the ones receiving the awards the next time the USO Service Salute comes around. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Camp Butler. Winning an award for outstanding service is something that all servicemen and women strive for throughout their careers. Recently, 5 men were awarded a salute from the United Services Organization. This annual event has been going on for 23 years on Okinawa, and the 5 servicemen receiving this year's award are proud to be part of this ongoing tradition. The Army's recipient is Sergeant Brian L. Hazelwood, who is currently assigned to 1st Battalion 1st Special Forces Group on Tori Station.
It gives me a little bit more self-confidence to being able to deal with the lower enlisted, the people that I may lead, one of these days. I believe it'll help me in that area the most.
For the Marine Corps, the award went to a 22-year-old Marine Sergeant from Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
It's a little overwhelming. I mean, when you consider that there's a lot of Marines here on Okinawa, and that they selected me to be the quote-unquote Marine of the Year. So it sets a standard. I have to set the standard then for the rest of the year. So like I said, it seems a little overwhelming.
The Navy's awardee is a hospital corpsman and is currently working as the Senior Medical Department Representative for 3rd Battalion 12th Marines.
It means a great deal. I feel that all the hard work and community service and dedication I've given to Navy has finally paid off, and I feel honored.
Kadena Air Base's Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year, Staff Sergeant Mark L. Swalters, accepted the honor of representing the United States Air Force.
We have people that'll come up through the ranks will have an opportunity to be up for awards and boards and things like that. And the whole process that we've been through with meeting boards and with dealing with the tension involved, it makes you pretty able to coach people through the same sort of thing, so they're not frightened or intimidated by it. But it's a good experience all around.
The Coast Guard's honoree didn't start his military career in the Coast Guard. Originally, he joined the Marine Corps, and after receiving an honorable discharge, enlisted in the Navy, and finally transferred over to the U.S. Coast Guard, where he serves today at Loran Station, Gisashi.
What's important to me is to making sure that I set a good example for the junior personnel and also for the senior personnel that have a can-do attitude. We can do the job, any job that comes to us.
Each service member received a myriad of gifts from various organizations. They will all be bringing back the pride and honor of winning such a prestigious award to their respective work sections, and will continue to set the high standards that they lived up to that got them where they are today. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Camp Butler. It was a rather gloomy Sunday morning when Kadena Air Base prepared for an invasion. an invasion of over 8,000 runners to enter the base as part of the first Okinawa Marathon, that is. The first runners to enter were led by a motorcade of official vehicles holding mayors from some of the sponsoring townships. The course led the runners into Kadina's Gate 2, around the central part of the base, and out Gate 5 to continue on their jog of more than 40 kilometers. The fact that this marathon's course went through an American military installation makes it a first among many marathons held in Japan each year.
When the mayor first came to the base commander and asked for his support, the mayor was representing a coalition of 12 towns and villages called the Local Government Association of Central Okinawa. That represents over 600,000 people. So the official representatives were just absolutely elated. Not only that, but because it was advertised as the only marathon in Japanese history to go through a U.S. military base, sign-ups were full in 3 days. That's 72 hours after they opened. That was the reaction.
Having over 8,000 runners go through the base over a period of about 4 hours is no small task. A lot of work went into the planning, preparing, and carrying out of this intercultural event. More than 40 volunteers from all branches of the service gave up their weekend time to help direct traffic and ensure the safety of participants. According to a Kadena public affairs official, this really set a spirit of cooperation between the American military community on Okinawa and the residents of Okinawa City. Not only did the Americans help out, there was also a number of Americans running in the race. Here's a look at the top finishers, both American and Japanese, for the first Okinawa Marathon. All in all, the gloomy weather that started out this day didn't even put a slight damper on the participants, volunteers, and observers of this marathon that turned out to be a success not only in the sporting sense, but in international relations as well. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Kadena Air Base. Okinawa's large military population brings with it many families and children. For a lot of kids, being in a foreign country on a military base can be scary at times. To combat this potential problem, a variety of clubs designed specifically for children and young adults have been established. The United States Marine Corps set up a series of Marine Corps youth centers. In the past, the use of these facilities was free to anyone who wanted to participate, but as of this coming April 1st, a membership will be required for children wishing to take part in youth center activities.
For one thing, everybody being a member helps us have real good, accurate records of all the kids that are involved in our youth activities. It's a way for us to find out what activities the kids are interested in. They'll be checking for karate classes and different classes of interest. Also, it helps generate some funds from the youth centers. Up until now, we haven't been charging the children anything for activities. This will help generate some funds for each one of the centers. And the kids that sign up will get discounts for all kinds of activities like dances and field trips.
After the April 1st deadline, those who have not signed up will not be allowed to participate in youth center events. Those members who wish to bring friends to the center as guests will be allowed to do so. However, for events that cost money, a higher rate will apply to non-members. Each of the various youth centers on island has decided on some way to get kids to sign up. The Camp Lester Youth Center, dubbed Trends by the kids who frequent it, held a membership drive extravaganza, doing everything from games to bake sale and even a car wash to get people to sign up. According to one of the parents of a youth center member, the clubs give the children a central area to get together with their friends, as well as provide a place that is always under adult supervision. This in turn keeps the kids off the streets and helps them stay away from trouble. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Camp Lester. Winter days with temperatures reaching the high 70s, year-round swimming, not a flake of snow seen for uncountable years. Ice hockey. Huh? Well, those first three things describe the paradise island known as Okinawa, but that last one, ice hockey on Okinawa? Yes, it's true. Every winter, I guess you could call it that, a water sports park transforms a large area into an indoor ice skating rink. The rink serves two purposes. One is for the general population of Okinawa to enjoy the fun of ice skating, and the other is to provide the Okinawa ice hockey team with a place to practice. A few years ago, when some Americans found out about this seemingly impossible Okinawan sport, they gathered up their gear and headed for the ice. Now the American squad is a weekly regular, providing the Okinawan team with some fierce competition.
Okinawa only has one team, and in America, there are many players of the game. So they have a lot more experience than us, and it gives us a chance to learn hockey from them.
The Okinawa ice hockey team travels to mainland Japan once or twice a year to represent Okinawa in national competition, while the American team is made up of a variety of players, some of which have only been playing for a short time.
Okay, the American squad consists of active duty airmen, sailors, and Marines. We also have a civilian on the squad, and one of the players' sons plays on the squad as well. So these are all service members on the island of Okinawa.
For most, the thought of even ice skating on Okinawa seems far-fetched, but this group of Americans has shown that Okinawa is not the nothing-to-do place everyone makes it out to be, and by participating in this international sport, they have brought together people from two cultures that otherwise would have never met. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Okinawa City. Torii Station's gymnasium turned into a volleyball madhouse recently. For 2 days, competitors from all over Okinawa jumped, spiked, and blocked to their heart's content in the 1993 island-wide volleyball tournament. The games were created and sponsored by Torii's Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. The planning for this event took well over a month and many hours to get it right. Though the competition was meant for anyone to play in, it wound up drawing some of the hottest volleyball teams on the island, including Just Volleyball and the Poi Pounders, just to name a couple. Because of the experienced teams participating in the tournament, the competition was fierce.
A lot of the players we got in this tournament are, their caliber are a little better, and they're out there to play, and everybody know how to play the game. They know the game, so it makes the competition very good.
This volleyball tournament adds to the list of many tourneys held year-round on Okinawa and provides another opportunity for the men and women who love volleyball to get together and continue to hone their skills. Here's a look at how the 8 teams fared in this weekend-long competition. Overall, the 1993 island-wide volleyball tournament turned out better than expected, and as one member of Torii MWR put it, it kept right in line with our motto of guaranteed fun. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Torii Station. With summer coming up, the young American people in Okinawa are faced with a possible scarcity of things to do in their holiday time. One way for kids to spend their free time is by joining a youth group, such as the Boy Scouts or the more career-oriented Explorers. Recently, a ceremony was held that chartered a new branch of Explorers to the Marine Corps Base Provost Marshal's office. The Explorer program is a branch of the Boy Scouts of America. A career field is chosen and the group is formed to learn about that specialty. In this case, the group will be called Law Enforcement Explorers. The military sponsor of this program says that this kind of youth activity provides a good platform for youth to start a possible future career.
The Explorers are a group of young adults, 14 to 21 years old, that are looking for a career opportunity. In this case, the Provost Marshal's office has sponsored the law enforcement post, and these young adults are learning law enforcement, the law enforcement occupation. And they, of course, learn things that will be applicable if they decide to make law enforcement a career back in the United States.
Various activities are planned for the new group of explorers, all of which will have something to do with law enforcement. The first activity took place recently in front of the Camp Foster Exchange. It was a bake sale designed to raise funds for the new group as well as awareness. It was a chance for the newly formed law enforcement explorers to show Okinawa's youth what could be gained from joining this group and provided an easy way for interested young adults to sign up. The law enforcement explorers will be a high visibility group, active in helping the Marine Corps MPs in situations such as crowd control at Camp Foster's yearly Save-a-thon and providing a hand to the desk sergeant. This in turn will provide the MPs more time to take care of the extensive amount of things that the Marine Corps military police have to deal with, as well as giving some youth a chance to explore their future possibilities. Sergeant Bruce Gordon, FEN News, Camp Foster.